Hello, Collective, and welcome to the channel. So today we'll be doing a message for the new moon that will be transiting. It's a new moon in Leo, and as we've watched the moon wane into this position from Aquarius to Leo along that axis, um, we initially started off with an illumination of something that is our true heart's desire. So at the illumination of the full moon in Aquarius, our true heart's desire was like shown to us essentially. And as it passed through Pisces, we saw that the differences between a traditional version of happiness and our version of happiness. And we were in a sense almost like comparing it to what other people deem as something that is fulfilling, that is life fulfilling, versus something that we see for ourselves as fulfillment. And then, as it moved from Pisces into Aries, it's like there was a recognition that our desires had been taking the back seat. And in doing so, it was allowing us to see kind of like the things that we really didn't want for our life in this moon transit. And it's all, of course, focused on the heart because Leo rules the heart. So in that taking of the back seat, we were all illuminated to essentially that we haven't been following our true desires. Okay. And so with the moon's transit into Taurus, what happened was it's like that energy of Aries transitioning into Taurus was giving us the kind of like the gusto, the fire to start to act on what our true desires were. I actually just saw 237, and for me that means like it means following your dreams. It can be taken literally, like watching your dreams and following your dreams, but in this sense it's kind of acting as a confirmation for what we're speaking right now. And the whole purpose of the energy that was coming to us in that moon transit of Taurus was that it was showing us that instead of like speaking out about what our desires were, because it's like when we were speaking it was getting a little bit of backlash, if you will. And so it's like that idea was kind of scrapped in a sense. And we as a collective have been showing essentially, it was telling us that we should start to show and share what our desires were, not through our words, but through our work, through our action, through the things that we decide to focus on. And now we watched then the moon come into Gemini. And with Gemini, you've got like a polarizing, there's a sense of polarization with Gemini, and what that was acting on was showing us in our environment, in our world, the almost like an opposite example of what we want. And essentially it was like as a reconfirmation that we are following our truest heart's desire, whatever that may be. Of course, all of us, it's very individually focused. In which, in a sense, with the season that we're running in, it makes sense that a heart's desire would be more individually focused, because it is, Leo is opposite to Aquarius, and Aquarius, although maybe the rebel, there is a rebel in a sense of standing out. There is a sense of a community with it, which is what we were picking up on, like that friends and family, um, that was coming up next. So shifting from that moon in Gemini and into the transit of the moon as it marched its way towards the new moon in Leo, we came upon the moon in Cancer, and that was talking about like witnessing the shadow of our actions in family and friend dynamics, and as it relates to the shielding of our own hearts, which is like our heart's desires, essentially. So it brought us to a point where we as a collective were starting to understand that the people pleasing aspect is no longer serving us, and that is a shadow that, as we integrate it into our collective, there's going to be a more emphasis of following your true, it's like true nature, following your true nature and your true desires. So as we move into this now, of course, that was a recap from the full moon, and now coming into the new moon in Leo. Well, let's see. Essentially, the new moon is about setting intentions, starting something fresh and new. It's in its infancy, so there's a lot of care that wants to be put into this manifestation that we're planting. It's a seed. It's a small seed that we're planting now with this new moon in Leo. Of course, with all of the knowledge that we've gained throughout this entire experience. It's essentially a 2-week experience. So there's a lot of information that we've gone through and processed, all individually and all as a collective. And so with this new moon in Leo, I want to see what the framework is. I want to see how it's, oh, I love this one, where it's leading us to. This is the rabbit and fox, and she's actually sitting on a full moon. So it's like we've been led from that full moon by this fox energy, which I often talk about as something that wants to entice us. It's a dashing energy that wants to entice us to move forward, actually to our center. The fox constellation in my studies has been found to be like a pinpoint. It's a directional pinpoint that leads us to our center. So with all of that, of course, being said, let's see the underlining energy for this new moon in Leo. Let's give it, a couple more shuffles and just see. Okay. So the underlining energy, the supportive energy, the energy that we actually might not even be seeing and recognizing. And this is gorgeous because I've caught a little peek of it. But it's the Ten of Cups. So the energy that we're not, the new moon, it's dark. It's not dark in a sense of it. Essentially, there's not a lot that can be seen. And so a lot of the supportive elements to this new beginning that we're walking into with this new moon in Leo has been shadowed out. It's like it's something that we're not recognizing. And that supportive element has been actually the traditional view of what happiness is, of what wish fulfillment is, of what we all deem to be, I guess, the societal standard of how we should be moving our lives, how we should be operating our lives. It's a very traditional version of that. It, it doesn't contain like the qualities of progressiveness, if you will. So it's actually that energy. So weird, video cut out. But so like I was saying, it's actually that energy that has been supporting us in this movement. It you know, the message of you kind of have to see the things that don't align with you in order to move towards the things that would align to you. It's coming along with that message. So like I was saying, we were able to see a picture of what's not agreeing with us, what's not agreeing with our soul's needs and wants. And because of that, it's like we're stepping away from this energy. And as we move towards the overall energy, let's look at the bridge. Let's look at the bridge that's going to help carry us into that space. And this is great. The bridge that's carrying us into that space it's the death card. So it is a transmutation of this understanding. It's like this part has served its purpose. It's served its purpose. And it's like just as how I'm kind of moving through this, not shuffling, but like, you know what I mean, moving the cards. It's like we're moving past this idea. We're moving past the idea of what happiness means for us. And in doing so, there's going to be like a death experience. This part of us that doesn't actually align with our heart's desire is going to, well, it's going to fall away. And of course, when it does, it goes through this death process. And as it decays, it actually ends up fueling the next manifestation, because it's like the energy of this needs to, it's coming through as like it needs to disintegrate, and then all of those, it needs to break down into its basic elements. And as it breaks down into its basic elements, it can be rebuilt into something brand new. So the death energy is what's helping us transmute that. So let's look at the overall energy. I'm not going to take that one because I wasn't finished speaking. Let's look at the overall energy for this new moon in Leo. It's interesting. There's a lot of like rethinking things. Oh, this is gorgeous. There's a lot of rethinking things and reshuffling and getting things back on track. It's like making sure that you have the right intentions for this new moon in Leo. You know, it's like this two of wands, like just, it's that going back and forth. It's very interesting. So for the overall energy, it's actually the other 10 of cups. So this 10 of cups is, I call it, it's like an unconventional form of what happiness means for you. It doesn't follow the traditional values that our society has placed upon us. It's something different. It's something that I don't want to say it's like more lively, because both experiences, of course, are valid, right? But it's like this experience is more fulfilling because it matches what you desire. It's like they're both the 10 of cups, they're both wish fulfillment, they're both, has a sense of being emotionally invested in a group, a family, so this new moon in Leo is carrying us into a new manifestation of what we deem to be our true heart's desire and where our happiness lies. And in that, also finding that we're like, this is actually, even though it's something that's like outside of the box, it's outside of the norm, it's something that maybe other people don't agree with, it's it means something to the individual. And that ultimately is all that matters. So enjoy this new moon in Leo. Of course, make sure your intentions going into it um are clear. It needs to be clear. And when we do go into this, there's an emphasis on the emotional aspect of it. It's not the words, it's the emotions that are going to be really um, emphasized in this new moon. All right. Enjoy the new moon, and I will see you next time. Bye.